Hey yo guys, what is up? Welcome back to another video on the MTG Nerds channel. Today, we are going to be looking at a deck, Tasigur, the Golden Fang Commander deck. Before we hop into this, if you find out that you are interested in getting this deck for yourself, I actually have a link down below. This is being sold on our custom Commander decks page. So, if you click that link, it'll take you right to this deck, and you can buy this for yourself, get it shipped to you, free shipping and everything as long as you're in the US. Also, if you guys want to help support the channel, you can just like the video and subscribe. Helps out a ton, especially for a smaller YouTube channel like this one, and I really appreciate it. It only takes a couple seconds out of your day. Hopefully you can spare a couple seconds and help me out. Thanks, appreciate that. And lastly, if you want to help support the channel even more, you can check out Patreon. We just did the March Patreon booster opening. So if you want to go check out Patreon, linked below, you can get some packs sent to you every month, or you can just give $1 or $2, help out the channel, and you can automatically be entered in exclusive Patreon giveaways. So pretty good stuff, and there's some other sweet rewards on there. So let's hop into this deck, shall we? So starting off with the creatures, obviously our commander, Tasigur the Golden Fang, 5 and a black, 4/5 delve. If you don't know what that is, each card you exile from your graveyard while casting this spell pays for 1 colorless, and for 2 and 2 green or a blue, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard, then return a non-land card of an opponent's choice from your graveyard to your hand. So that is our commander. That is what we're working with. I'm not going to read every single one of these to you, but I will read some of the more important ones and tell you why some of the ones that I'm not going to read the whole card, I'll tell you why they're important. Alright, so let's start off with Massacre Girl. 3 double black, 4/4 menace. When it enters the battlefield, each other creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Whenever a creature dies this turn, each creature other than Massacre Girl gets -1/-1. This one is a great card with Tasigur because you can get it returned to your hand and then you can play it again and again. So, pretty good card. Honestly, a pretty good card on its own, especially with this deck. So, that one is very necessary. Tomebound Lich. So, basically, before we go any further, the goal of this deck is to get very value cards back from our graveyard into our hand and be able to play them again. So, as you probably saw in the title, this is a budget deck, so there's no crazy Cyclonic Rift and that kind of thing. But if you guys are interested in me making a more competitive version of this deck, make sure to leave a comment down below, and we can definitely do that. So, Tomebound Lich. 1 blue and a black, 1/3 Death Touch lifelink. Whenever it enters the battlefield or deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, then discard a card. So this card works great with Tasigur because you can keep returning it to your hand if your opponent chooses it, and you keep getting to get some not card advantage because you have to discard a card, but you basically can search through your library for what you need to wrap up the game. Devoted Druid, 1 green, 0/2, good mana rock. Yeah, that's pretty much what it's for. Ramping out some stuff, you know? That's what green likes to do. Spring Bloom Druid, 2 and a green, 1/1. Once again, another good card for mana ramp. Yeah, so that's why that's in there. Llanowar Elves, 1/1, tap it for green, another mana ramp sort of card. Archaeo Master, 2 and double blue, 1/2. When it enters the battlefield, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. So this one's good with Tasigur. Or actually, it's good like even just in your hand because you can still get cards back from your graveyard. So really, that one works in either scenario. Acolyte of Affliction, 2 black and a green, 2/3. So this one's good for milling your deck into your graveyard. That way, especially if you can get this ability off early and your opponent doesn't have much to choose from, it's a great way to get what you need into your hand. And when you play this, it does have that delve ability, so if there's stuff that you don't want your opponent to choose, you can just exile it when you play this card, so you can make sure that you don't get like junky cards back into your hand, like a Llanowar Elves late in the game, you know. That's when you'd exile it, and that way you wouldn't have to worry about getting a not needed card back in your hand. Scholar of the Ages, 5 double blue, 3/3. So another one that just retrieves cards from your graveyard to your hand, so another pretty good one. Plague Crafter 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker, and each player can't discard a card, so it's just good removal, really. Not direct removal, but it's a 2 and a black for a 3/2 creature plus that ability, so it's pretty good, especially for an uncommon and a pretty cheap card. Salvager of Secrets 3 double blue 2/2, and then another sort of fetch from your graveyard type thing. Mnemonic Wall 4 and a blue 0/4, another good fetch from your graveyard kind of card. Scrivener 4 and a blue 2/2. Comes into play, you may return target instant or interrupt from your graveyard to your play. If you don't know the old Magic slang, interrupt is an instant. So, once again, another good graveyard fetching card. Ixodron 3 double blue star. As it enters the battlefield, turn all other non-token creatures face down. They're 2/2 creatures. And its power and toughness are equal to the number of face-down creatures on the battlefield. Acidic Slime, 3 double green, 2/2 Death Touch, and then good removal for artifact, enchantments, or lands. Mind Blade Render, 1 and a black, 1/3. Whenever your opponents are dealt combat damage, if any damage was dealt by a warrior, you draw a card and lose 1 life. So this is good, although we don't have many warriors in this deck. It still works great just on this card, so pretty good card. Let's just get some card advantage. Fleshbang Marauder, 2 and a black, 3/1. When it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature. So pretty basic card, but pretty good if you can get out early and there's a big threat on the table. Or if your opponent has one big creature and nothing else, they have to sacrifice that creature. Bane of the Living, 2 and double black, 4/3 morph. If you don't know what morph is, I'll let you pause the video and read that. And when it is turned face up, all other creatures get -X/-X until end of turn. So good card, kind of like a board wipe in a creature, which honestly is pretty good. And finally, our last creature is going to be Peregrine Drake, 4 and a blue, 2/3 flying. When it enters the battlefield, untap up to 5 lands. So this one's great. It's literally it's a free flying 2/3 creature. Like, I'll take that. No problem at all. Pretty great card. So, moving on to our instants. Some fun stuff here. As you saw, we have a lot of cards that let us fetch sorceries or instants from our graveyard. So, pretty good stuff in this pile. For Simic instant, draw a card. You may put a land card from your hand on the battlefield. So, card advantage and little mana ramp into that card. Negate, just your classic counterspell. Sultai Charm for Sultai. Instant, choose 1, destroy target monocolored creature, destroy target artifact or enchantment, or draw 2 cards and discard a card. Pretty good, well-versed card. Dark Ritual, one of my favorite cards ever, to be honest with you. Had to throw it in here. 1 black, instant, add 3 black to your mana pool. Great card, especially in the beginning of a game. Good way to set your board up. Opt for 1 blue, classic card here. Instant, scry 1, draw a card. Great card. A lot of decks run it. Spell Pierce, another great counter spell, especially early on in the game. Dizzy Spell, 1 blue, instant, target creature gets -3/-0 until end of turn. Transmutate for 1 and 2 blue. I'll let you read that if you're interested or need to know what it does. Mystical Teachings, 3 and a blue. Instant, search your library for an instant or a card with flash. Reveal it, put it in your hand, and then shuffle your library. So great little tutor almost. So you can play this instant, and you go find yourself an instant, and it's got flashback if you need it. And that's a great one because if you are getting it returned to your hand, you can basically just keep finding cards to put in your hand. Really just works out quite well. Putrefy, 1 black, green, instant, destroy target artifact creature, can't be regenerated. Classic removal, every deck needs it. Forbidden Alchemy, 2 and a blue, instant. Look at the top 4 cards of your library, put 1 of them into your hand, the rest in your graveyard. This one's great because our graveyard is almost a hand for this deck, so really it should just say, put 4 cards into your hand. That's kind of what this card is. Ghostly Flicker, 2 and a blue, instant, exile 2 target creatures artifacts and or lands you control, then return those cards to the battlefield under your control. Aetherize, love the little AE, that kind of thing going on. 3 and a blue, instant, return all attacking creatures to their owner's hand. Great card, especially if you're like in a heavy defensive situation where you don't have creatures to block. This is a great one to slow your opponent down by quite a bit, especially if they're attacking with all of their board. Shred Memory, 1 and a black, instant, remove up to 4 target cards in a single graveyard from the game. This is great because a lot of decks do play from their graveyards, so not just ours, obviously. There's a good chance that people are going to be using their graveyards at the game you're playing, so that card is great for getting rid of those cards. Necralgia, I just said that totally wrong, but I'm not going to even try and fix it. 3 double black, instant, play like I said, not fixing it, I'm not saying again. Play it only during your discard phase. Pay X life, draw X cards. Very good card advantage. Death Sprout. Destroy a target creature, search your library for a basic land card, put it into the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle your library. Another great removal spell and ramp at the same time. Autumn's Veil, 1 green, instant. Spells you control can't be countered by blue or black spells this turn, and creatures you control can't be the targets of blue or black spells this turn. Great card. Kind of like that card in Standard that I'm totally blanking on the name of. Someone let me know what this card is, because I don't know why I can't remember it. I believe it's 1 green, and it's something to do with blue and black spells. I don't know why I can't remember it. I honestly don't know. Someone help me in the comments. Harrow, 2 and a green, instant. As an additional cost to cast it, sacrifice the land, and search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them in the battlefield, and shuffle your library. So pretty good card. Little ramp, quite a bit of ramp in this deck because we do have some pricier cards to play. Think Twice, 1 and a blue, draw a card, flashback for 2 and a blue. That is instant. Well, you knew that. We're in the instants section. Skeletal Scrying, X and a black, instant. As an additional, why did I just say instant again? As an additional cost to cast it, exile X cards from your graveyard. You draw X cards and lose X life. Not bad at all, and similar to this, it allows us to get rid of stuff we don't want in our graveyard into exile so that our opponents can't return it to our hands. Fact or Fiction, another one that should just say put all these cards in your hand. 3 and a blue. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library, and opponent separates them into 2 piles, and you put one in your hand and the other into your graveyard. Great card. And that is going to do it for our instant section. Moving on to sorceries. Starting off our sorceries is Sign in Blood. A little bit of draw card advantage for you. Typically you'd use this on yourself. 2 life isn't much in Commander. Great card, honestly. I'm surprised it's only a common. But yeah, that's a great card. Definitely worth running. Siphon Mind, 3 and a black sorcery. Each other player discards a card. You draw a card for each card discarded this way. So practically it should just say draw 3 if you're playing Commander. Rampant Growth, another just ramp card. Diabolic Tutor, 2 double black, and it is search your library for a card, put that card in your hand, and then shuffle your library. Great card, especially if you're digging for something that you really, really need to wrap up the game. Treasure Cruise, this has got the Delve ability. It's a good draw 3 cards, great card. Another reason we have so much drawing in this deck is if we do have more than our 7 in our hand at the end of turn, we will have to discard, but we're discarding into our graveyard. Thus, using Tasigur, we can put those cards back into our hand. So, Treasure Cruise, great card. Got Delve for you, so you can get rid of those cards you don't want in your graveyard, out and into exile. Yahenni's Expertise, 2 double black. All creatures get -3/-3 until end of turn. You may cast a card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. Great card. -3/-3 that'll kill quite a few things, so it can be a little bit of like a partial board wipe. And that second ability is just as great. Tracker's Instincts, 1 and a green. Reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put a creature card from among them into your hand and the rest into the graveyard. AKA put them all into your hand. Painful Truths. 2 and a black sorcery. You draw X cards, and you lose X life, where X is the number of colors spent to cast Painful Truth. Usually we can get 3 activations out of that. Circuitous Root, great card for a little bit of ramp early on. Golden Demise, 1 double black. Ascend, all creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. If you have the City's Blessing, instead, only creatures your opponents control get -2/-2 until end of turn. There you go. Pretty powerful card, especially for only 3. Razaketh's Right, 3 double black. Search your library for a card, put that card in your hand, and then shuffle your library, or cycle it for 1. Discard this card, draw a card. Honestly, cycling is a great choice, unless you really, really need something, because you put it in your graveyard, and then you might just get it back later, and you get to draw a card. Duress, target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose a non-creature, non-land card from it. That player discards that card. Good little hand removal spell. Deep Analysis, 3 in a blue. Target player discards... Target player draws 3 cards. Flashback for 1 in a blue. Pay 3 life. And finally, for our sorcery section is going to be Explorer. You may play an additional land this turn, and you get to draw a card. So, great card, little ramp for you, and a little bit of card advantage as well. For only 2 mana, that is a pretty powerful spell. Moving on to our enchantments. 1 with the stars, 3 in a blue. Enchant creature or enchantment. Enchanted permanent is an enchantment and loses all other types. So actually pretty good card, especially if there's like a big creature on the board that you need gone. Colossal Majesty, good card advantage card. Yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say about that one. 3 mana, get some card advantage. Vessel of Nenesi, Vessel of Nas. I don't know how to say this anyways, so I'm not going to correct myself. A green enchantment, 1 in a green, sacrifice it, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may put an artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker card from among them into your hand, then put the rest into your graveyard. A little bit of card advantage. Lots of card advantage in this deck. Sultai Ascendancy. For Sultai enchantment, at the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put any number of them into your graveyard, and the rest back on top of your library in any order. And to top it off, we have got Underworld Connections, 1 double black enchantment aura. Enchant land has tap it to pay 1 life and draw a card. More card advantage. Because, you never have enough cards when you're playing Magic. Like, let's be real. We got some artifacts. Here we go. Wish Claw Talisman, 1 and a black. This is a pretty fun card. You can go ahead and pause it and read it. It's a mouthful, so I'll probably be stumbling if I even try and read it, but I will let you pause and read it. Basically, it is a tutor that goes around the board, pretty much. It's quite an interesting card. Prismatic Lens, 2 colorless artifact, tap it for a colorless mana, or for 1 and tap it, add 1 mana of any card in your mana pool. Good for mana fixing or mana ramp. Simic Signet, 2 colorless artifact, 1 and tap it for Simic. Great card. Talisman of Resilience, 2 colorless, tap it to add a colorless mana, or tap it to add a black or green, and it deals 1 damage to you. More mana ramp. Talisman of Curiosity, same thing as the other one, except switch black and green for green and blue. And Golgari Signet, 2 colorless, 1 for 1 and tap it, you get Golgari mana. So lots of those mana rocks, but it's a pretty fun one in there too. And finally is going to be our lands. We've got Simic Guildgate, comes in tapped, tap it for a green or a blue. We've got Thornwood Falls, same thing as Simic Guildgate, you just gain a life when you play it. Terramorphic Expanse, basically an Evolving Wilds, if you know what that is. If not, you tap it to sacrifice it, and search your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle your library. And there is Evolving Wilds, same thing as Terramorphic Expanse, just with a different name. Submerged Boneyard, tap it, and you get to add it comes in tapped, and tap it for a blue or a black. Good mana fixing cards here in our land base. Dimir Guildgate enters the battlefield tapped, and tap it for blue or black. Same thing. These are literally the same with different names. Jungle Hollow. Same thing as the other Gain a Life card. You play it, comes in tapped. When you play it, you gain a life, and you can tap it for a green or a black. Golgari Guildgate comes in tapped. Tap it for a black or a green. 9 beautiful forests, 9 beautiful swamps, and finally 10 wonderful islands. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like the video and subscribe. It helps out a ton, like I said earlier. If you are interested in buying this deck, it will be linked down below. You can purchase it right away. Is for sale. And if you look in the description of the listing, you might find a little coupon code for a little deal. So make sure you check that out before you just go ahead and buy it, because you might get a few bucks off. So, hint, hint, wink, wink. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Appreciate you guys watching and sticking to the end. I'll see you guys all later. Peace out. See ya.